If you ever had thoughts or questions like, I want to promote my business, but I'm not sure how to do it, or I am introverted, I don't know how to promote my business, I'm afraid of being rejected, I am afraid of whatever that fear is, I am going to talk about all of this in this video as I share how you can shamelessly promote yourself as an introvert online and even in person. And I'm talking to you as an introverted person who used to cower in fear, who recently cowered in fear and then pushed through that fear to shamelessly promote myself and my business. So, before I tell you how to shamelessly promote yourself, I want to share my personal story. And one of the things that really made me passionate and really interested in sharing this story was because recently I was impressed with how I was promoting myself, right? So I've been going to more networking events, I've been showing up more online, and I'm like, no, man, who is this girl? Because before I used to be the girl who would hide behind the scenes. I am not going to show up. I'm not going to promote myself. I'm going to hide behind the scenes. And over the years, I've gotten much better in promoting myself. And where did that start for me? So, where it started for me was that I wanted more for myself, right? I had to go back to the why of why I was doing what I was doing and realizing that hiding behind the scenes, cowering fear, being crippled by fear was not serving me. No, I'm talking about it like it was so easy and it was not, right? It took years for me to get to the point where I'm at. Even me being on camera took years for me to get to where I'm at right now. But it can be done. Use me as a proof that it can be done, right? And like I'm saying, is I had to go back to my why, like, why do I want to promote myself? Why do I want to grow this business? Why am I doing this business? And, just going to that why really pushed me. And when I was thinking about it, I was realizing that, me staying in this comfort zone, me being fearful was not serving me. And it really doesn't serve any of us. And, I literally started challenging myself little by little, stepping outside of my comfort zone little by little. And so, in over the years I've gotten better. Like I would, start on social media because that was my comfort space. But even in the social media space, I was still a little bit shy. I was still, so afraid and staying behind the scenes. So I'd create blogs and hide behind the scenes. I'd create a post and hide behind the scenes. Or I would share just random stuff and not share my work or promote my work. And I was like, no, if I am talented, if I am great at what I do, why am I hiding it? What am I really afraid of? And if I'm going to be honest with you, I was just so worried about what people would think. I was worried about being rejected. I was worried about being judged or whatever. All irrational thoughts, to be honest, because what someone thinks it doesn't matter to me, right? If you think my work isn't good, fine, that's your thought or that's your opinion, but I know I'm great at what I do. And so, just like you are great at something, yet still you're not sharing it with the world. And somehow you think someone is going to know that you are great at what you do. Like for me, I know I'm great at designs, I know I'm knowledgeable in Canva. But if I don't share that with the world, if I don't create the videos, if I don't tell people about it, how will they know? And it's the same thing for you. I want you to think about that. If you are a great graphic designer, website designer, tailor, whatever you are, whoever you are, how will people know if you don't open your mouth, if you don't share your work, if you don't show up for yourself, right? And just like that, I just started showing up for myself. I started betting on myself. I started believing in myself more. And the more I started challenging myself, stepping outside of my comfort zone, I got better. I got even more confident, right? And so let's talk about shamelessly promoting yourself and how I impressed myself. So how I impressed myself was by this, right? So I recently went to a Canva creator meetup. And even before that, I realized I was just started showing up more for myself. If you've been watching my YouTube videos for years, since 2020, you'll realize I've grown significantly on camera in terms of my confidence and how I just articulate myself. But one of my biggest challenges has always been in-person networking, right? So online feels comfortable to a great extent, depending on what I'm doing. And again, that took years of being better and getting better. I have a video on that. I'll link it here. But what I'm saying is that in-person event, I did this in-person event at the Canva Create, a meetup for creators. And I was just networking, talking, sharing my work, sharing my, what I do, promoting myself. I went to different places and in different spaces, and I was doing the same thing. And I literally stopped, and I literally stopped in the moment. And I was like, whoa, I am impressed with myself, because years ago this was not me. So how did I get here? The first thing is to bet on yourself. You're going to want to bet on yourself. You're going to want to know that your why is bigger than any fear that you can possibly have. You're going to start there, right? You're going to bet on yourself. You're going to say, listen, I want people to know what I know really well, and I'm going to share it. I'm going to show up for myself. And whether they reject me, whether they think whatever about me, it doesn't matter. I'm betting on myself. I'm showing up for myself. And the first place I would say, well, it's to bet on yourself. But another thing that is important for you to do when you're betting on yourself, I have my notes here, by the way, is for you to be confident in what you know well and share it with others who you know would be interested. So, for instance, for me, one of the things I know really well, I'm giving you an example. I know Canva really well. I am confident in my Canva skills. All right. I'm confident in navigating Canva. So, what do I do? When I'm in spaces where persons are asking questions about Canva, I'm like, oh, you can actually do this in Canva, or I can help you in Canva. And that opens room for conversation. That opens room for you to promote yourself. So you present yourself in a way where you can share your knowledge in a confident way. And you have to be confident. If you're not confident, that you kind of defeat the purpose, to be honest. So you have to know what you know really well and be confident about sharing it with persons who are interested or who would be interested in your work. All right. So that's two. Three, use your network. Now, this is a great place to start. I know sometimes the people who are in our network can be sometimes very hard critics, but it's a great way to start. So, if you know something really well, you want to start telling your friends, like, hey, I am learning this really cool or new thing, and I think I'm really badass at it. You should come and see my work. You should check out my work. Direct them to where they can see it, invite them to that event, if whatever it is, wherever you can get them to know that you know what you know really well. Invite them, share it with them. And so I say, start with your friends, start sharing with your friends, start sharing with your colleagues, like the things you know really well, and promote your work. Right. And like I said, it's online. I mentioned online, but I am throwing in some in-person stuff here, because we need to do both. Like, over the years, I've been talking about online, and online is great, but even when we show up online, we also have to show up in person. There will be situations where you have to convert that online energy to in-person energy. And listen, I'm going to tell you a recent story, by the way, so keep sticking around for that. Right. So you're going to bet on yourself. You're going to be confident in what you know well, and share it with others who would be interested. You're going to use your network, like share your work with your network, because that's like a good, comfortable place to start. So if you're worried, like, oh, I don't want to go up to a stranger or expose myself to strangers, then you start with your inner circle, and then you expand outwards, because what I've found is that our network can oftentimes, and most likely, they will introduce you to other persons outside of your network. Then, four, use social media in a way that feels comfortable for you. Let me tell you, this is my superpower. This was my superpower. When I started out on social media, or just in the digital space, I was blogging. That was my thing. I would write articles, and it was so comfortable, because as I did behind the scenes, I would post a photo, go back behind the scenes, that kind of thing. But over the years, I realized that I had to try different things and identify the things that I that was kind of comfortable for me, but also stretching me. So here's what I mean when I say use social media in a way that feels comfortable for you. If you like stories, so share your work on stories. If you like posting, probably a reel without showing your face, you can start there. Find something that feels comfortable but also challenges you, right? So don't just say, oh, I don't like social media and don't do anything. Find something in the social media space or a way you can show up in the social media space and do just that. So if you have designs or you probably do painting, you can just post your work like, hey guys, check out this new painting I did. Or you do a design, you can say, oh, check out this new design that I did. Whatever it is, you can start in the social media space in a way that feels comfortable for you. Another thing, and this one is for in person, but it can also be online. Find events where you'll find like minds or persons who will be interested in your work and what you do. Now, this is a great one because for me, as someone who is introverted, I tend to go to places where I'm like, oh, I'll find other creatives or I'll find persons who will be interested in my work. Like for me, I go to spaces where there are entrepreneurs or where there are other creatives or where there are professionals, who have similar interests like me. And in that space, when, we start having conversations, I can say, oh, this is what I do. This is how I show up, that kind of thing, right? So find those events, find your people. Like I always tell my friend, find your tribe, find your people. When you find your tribe and find your people, it makes it much easier for you to promote yourself. And I'm going to be giving you an honest truth. And that honest truth is that sometimes you will get crippled by fear. And I'm going to give you a quick story time that happened today. So today I went to a cafe, right? And the intention of going to the cafe, of course, was to do some work. But I have recently transitioned into entrepreneurship, taking it more seriously and not just doing it as a side also, but how I can make it more sustainable. So, of course, I want to let more persons know what I do, not just coming on social media, posting a story, or coming on social media, doing a YouTube video and go back in my shell, or just, posting an article on LinkedIn or whatever. I want to currently I'm in the season of not just showing up online but showing up in person. So I went to the cafe, I was sitting down and I had the cards, I took out the cards, placed them on the table, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start giving out my cards, I'm gonna introduce myself. But the longer I took, I realized I started getting fearful. The place was getting really packed. There were just so many people coming in and going. And I was like, maybe I won't, introduce myself because again, at a cafe, 9 times out of 10, people are like busy doing their work. And I sat down there, I had the cards out on the table. I was trying to rationalize with myself, like, oh, probably I don't have to introduce myself today. I don't have to give anybody my business card. Maybe I can come back. And like I sat down there and I was like, no, that don't make no sense. Like it makes absolutely no sense for me to be in this space, wanting to do this thing and not doing it. Here's what nudged me to give or hand out my business cards or approach persons to give them my business cards. So I was thinking about this video, about recording this video a few weeks ago, after I impressed myself, of course. And I was just thinking about my growth overall, right? And I was writing the script. I was like, oh, when I go home today, I'm going to talk about, how to shamelessly promote yourself, helping persons how to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I was writing the script, like all the notes that I have here was just from the script or just taking the notes. And I said to myself, oh, these are all great tips. These are things I do, but why am I not doing it? Literally. I was like, why am I not doing it? Like, where did this fear come from? Why is it crippling me in this moment when I came here to network, not even just network, but to meet people and give them my card? Why am I not doing it and trying to rationalize in my mind why I shouldn't reach out or connect with someone? I literally sat there, thought about or challenged that fear. Like I knew I had the fear, I was sitting in that fear, and I literally sat there and challenged the fear until I said, you know what, I'm going to take up these business cards and I'm going to go to at least 5 persons and give at least 5 persons my business card. I got up. Previously, I'd asked a young lady to take some photos of me in the space. Well, before I went to her, there was a young lady sitting close to me. I just introduced myself, and I'm going to give you the exact thing I said. I said, "Hi, I'm Carey. How are you doing?" She's mentioned she's good. I said, "I'm a graphic designer, and I design websites. I design graphics, I should say. I design graphics for social media and websites, and I also design websites, right?" And she's like, "Oh, lovely." And I said to her, "If you ever need a graphic designer, you can think about reaching out to me. And if you don't want a graphic designer or don't have a need for a graphic designer right now, feel free to share my card or my details with your friends or your network." And she said, "Thank you." She smiled and I went on. She was the first person. And then I went around doing the same thing to literally almost everyone in the cafe. I literally didn't go to everyone because some people were really just busy on a call or was having their meal. And I did that. The second person I went to was the person who I had asked previously to take my photos. I went to her, I was like, "Hi, I didn't get your name. I am Carey and I'm a graphic designer, da 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 da." Gave her I said, "If you don't mind, I'm leaving my business card with you." And I went out along my merry way. Out of all the persons I went to today, only one person rejected me. Only one person out of the many persons I went to rejected me. And her rejection was, I went to her. She's like, "Oh, I have no need for a graphic designer or a website. I don't have a website, so I don't need it." I said, "Okay, no problem. Thank you." And I moved on. No, let me tell you, rejection isn't the easiest thing to deal with. We don't like to hear no. We don't like to be disappointed. But the reality is, when you're putting yourself out there, you quite possibly will get rejected. You might get persons who are just honestly just rude. They're very disinterested. They'll be very passive aggressive in how they approach things. But 9 times out of 10, what I've found, especially since I've been more boldly and confidently promoting myself and shamelessly promoting myself and reaching out to people, is that I am receiving good feedback. I'm met with warm smiles and an open heart for me to share more about my business. I'm going to give you another example. So first of all, almost in the entire cafe, almost 10 persons got my business card and only one person rejected me, right? All right, so that's a story, and that's something I wanted to have in your mind. Yesterday, I was at another cafe, and I was there again, just in my own world, like working, da 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 da. Fine, that's why I go to the cafe. But I also go to the cafe with the intention to network and for someone, at least one person, to get my business card. The person sat beside me. They were in their meeting. They were this, they were that. I was observing them all the time, trying to think about the best time to approach them. When he came off the call, he was just there, and I said to him, "Hi, not to bother you. If you don't mind, I'd like to leave a business card with you. I am Carey. I'm a graphic designer. I also specialize in Canva, da 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 da." Told him all of that. I also mentioned to him that I do websites and I focus on Squarespace at this moment. He's like, "Wow, I have a website. I built my website on Squarespace and I would love some help." What are the chances? We went as far ahead to show me his website. He went on his social media. We were talking. I learned about what he was doing, the type of work he's doing, all of that. Mind you, maybe he will not contact me after, right? Maybe he will not need my services right now. But I left with him an impression on who I am, what I do, and how I can help him. So if in the future he's like, "Oh, I want a graphic designer who focuses on Canva, or I want someone who designs websites, but specifically about Squarespace," he can think about me. No, I'm going to be so honest with you. Fear can cripple you. Your own thoughts can cripple you. Limiting beliefs can cripple you. I have been there. I have been there. It happens even when you feel like you have stepped outside of your comfort zone and has gotten more confident. fear will creep up. It happened to me today. It happened to me many times before. Even when I feel like I've overcome an hurdle, the fear pop up. So the honest truth is sometimes you will feel that fear. You'll feel crippled by fear, literally like you want to do the thing and you don't know how to do it. And I always say, challenge that fear. Challenge that fear. Challenge your fear. If you're going out to promote yourself, if you want to promote yourself, start small. Start with one thing you want persons to know about you and take it from there. Do what you think would be best for you. But honestly, I want you to step outside of your comfort zone. And I want to share with you three benefits of promoting yourself. The first one is you'll get the clients you want. So if you're an entrepreneur like myself and you are introverted, of course, we want clients. How else are we going to get paid? How else am I going to get paid if I don't put myself or promote myself, right? So get the clients you want. You can get the clients you want when you shamelessly promote yourself. Create that social media strategy, create that content, post it on stories, post it on wherever you need to post it, post it. Have that strategy, post your content, share what you know really well with others. Let persons know, oh, I'm an expert in Canva. Oh, I'm an expert in Squarespace. Oh, I can sew really well. Oh, I'm a great writer. Let persons know because it can lead to opportunities for you to get clients. Two, it challenges you to step outside of your comfort zone. Listen, man, I have grown significantly because I challenge myself to step outside of my comfort zone. And it has helped to number three, build my confidence. I can't tell you how much more confident I have become since I have decided to promote myself, to shamelessly promote myself, to to remove the thoughts that I'll be rejected, to remove the thought that, oh, people don't care about what I do. Listen, you will find your people when you start promoting yourself. You're not for everybody. Not everyone will gravitate towards you. Not everyone will like your work. But once you start sharing your work, your people will find you and you will find your people. I am so passionate about talking about how to shamelessly promote yourself. I have been there. I've spent years hiding behind the scenes. I have spent years crippled in fear, worried about what people would think, and not sharing my work. Yet at the same time, seeing other people who are not half as good as I am get the promotion, get the work that I wanted. And I'm going to share one thing with you before I go. And I saw it on Threads and it was posted by Glow Graphics, and I'm going to tell you what she said. I have to share this with you because I reposted it on my social media. So give me a second because it's not coming up for whatever reason, but I have to share it with you. And if you are not following me on Instagram, you need to follow me. It's careydigital.co. And on there you'll see some of my work. You will also see some of my day-to-day, that kind of thing. All right. I believe I have found this post because I had to share it in my stories. And this thing one like it one flat because it's a take forever. Look. All right. All right. I want to just kind of paraphrase until it pops up. What Glow was saying is that she works with a lot of women who are over 40. And these women who she work with, they are talented, they are great at what they do, but they are so fearful of sharing their work or sharing their gifts with others. And yet, at the same time, they feel offended or they are disappointed to see persons who are not half as good as they are get the promotion, get the work, get the clients, whatever it is, get the opportunities that they would ultimately want. And she said something that really stood out. She said it is better to be loud, to be mediocre and loud, than to be silent, to be excellent and silent. Right? So let me repeat that. So she said something, guys, for the love of God, this thing is not popping up, and I really don't love this for myself. But yeah, she just said it is better to be loud and mediocre than to be excellent and silent. And that really hit it for me. And like I said to my after I read it, I said to myself, this is why I share my work. This is why I let people know what I know, because I reached a point where I was just tired of seeing mediocre people get the work that I would ultimately want, or because they were quote unquote the loudest in the room, get the work that I would ultimately want, or the opportunities I would want. And the reason was simply because people didn't know, right? I've had persons in the past say, "Oh, Kieran, I didn't know you do graphics. Oh, Kieran, I didn't know you know about whatever it is." And I was like, "Really? You never know that?" And they're like, "No, I don't know." And literally, how can they know if I didn't share it? So I have said a mouthful, I've said a lot, but if you should leave with anything today, I want you to bet on yourself. That is always my message, for you to bet on yourself. My message is always for you to step outside of your comfort zone.